Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? The purpose of this reading is to both bring forth the messages that I just mentioned, as well as use my experience as a spiritual coach to help you move past your limiting beliefs in order to create the life of your dreams. If that does not sound like something that is for you, then this very well might not be your reading. As always, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy for the reading as well as clarified those messages. I have the tarot deck already shuffled that we'll dive into, as well as the decks that I'll be using in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, so do remember to take what resonates and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. All right, Sagittarius, let's jump on in. In your recent past, you have your commitment is being tested with the Three of Swords. I'm going to come back to this commitment is being tested card after I kind of read through the other energies. But what I'm seeing is that your recent past, there's a lot of pain that exists in your recent past, whether that's, grief or sadness or anxiety or frustration. That's going to depend on again, this is a general reading, so it's going to depend on your personal situation, but I do see that there's a lot of pain that exists in your recent past. And I feel like through that situation, I don't want to say you've lost a lot of hope. You very well could have lost a lot of hope, but specifically like faith, like almost like not believing that things are ever going to get better or believing that your happiness exists in your past. And when that is the case, we can often kind of get ourselves stuck in the reality that all of our happiness is behind us, even though that isn't the case unless we believe it's the case. Remember, as I mentioned in every single one of my readings, 95% of your movements, choices, and decisions stem from your subconscious. Only 5% of the way that you interact with your reality is conscious. So the more that you think something, the more you start to believe that, the more that belief will become your reality, because those limiting beliefs that exist in your subconscious are what's making up the majority of your movement, choices, and decisions. And so we have to kind of look back at our past and look what happened and look what the situation kind of put us through and what it was trying to teach us in order to really move forward from that. Otherwise, as you have in your current energy, you have don't let your past hold you back with the Fool in reverse. Otherwise, we're going to keep ourselves from a new beginning. There is a new beginning here for you with the Fool in reverse, but with it in reverse, it hasn't been able to manifest itself into reality yet, because there's something from your past, whether that be a person, a perspective, an energy, something that is holding you back from being able to move forward. This could be something that you're more than willing to let go of but haven't figured out how, or this could be something that you're having a hard time wanting to let go of. Either way, you can be certain that you do have some sort of a new beginning that is available to you. Now, when you move into your immediate future, you have the Queen of Wands with work through your fears. Now, I don't see this as a negative. It kind of could sound negative with the work through your fears card, but this Queen of Wands, I believe that, yes, that's obviously you being a fire sign, whether you are male or female, but that Queen of Wands to me is taking inspired action, taking action toward the things that we know is what's best for us. Now, oftentimes when we start to create the life of our dreams and we start to step out of our comfort zone and take action toward the things that we want in life, our ego and our fear is going to do everything that it can to pull us back into our comfort zone. So if you're going through, like, what this feels like is like a phoenix rising kind of reading. Like, you are coming out of a really tough period. You're still kind of stuck in it, but that's okay. Rising from the ashes is not just like a straight upward trend. You're going to go up a little bit. You're going to have bumps in the road along the way, but it is going to be, you are coming up and coming out of it. But the more that you experience that growth and that kind of like rise, you're going to experience more fear that's going to try to pull you back down. Because when we try to take steps out of our comfort zone, our ego, it doesn't like that, because those, the life of living, the idea of living a life of like happiness and abundance and everything that it is that you look forward to or that you want into your life, that's so unfamiliar to your ego, because you've only really ever experienced pain and survival and suffering and lack, right? So the thought of living an abundant life is actually very scary to us, because we don't know what that's going to feel like. The pain and the lack and the suffering, that's all very predictable for you. You know exactly what that's going to feel like. So sometimes we actually, without realizing it, choose our fear, because we know exactly what that kind of energy is going to feel like and what it's going to look like and what that experience is going to be like. And so I feel like where your commitment is being tested card is coming from is, like I said, as we move up, your fear is going to do everything it can to pull you back. And whether or not you believe your fear or choose your faith is going to determine whether or not you move forward. I talk about a lot on my channel how real the manifestation process is and how easy, once you get to a certain point in your journey, it is to attract and create this life that you're absolutely wanting. But in that process, because it is a process of both, shifting your internal world so that your external world can shift. It's a process of both. And in that process, you're going to experience a lot of really uncomfortable feelings and really uncomfortable emotions. And in those moments, that's when your quote unquote commitment is being tested, because are you going to pull back to your comfort zone and repeat past cycles, or are you going to move past these cycles, choose differently because you believe differently now, and create a better experience? So I feel like this is a very positive, like Phoenix rising kind of reading, like I said, but I do feel like you're kind of in this like limbo period. Like you're not quite in as bad of a shape as you once were. Maybe you are still kind of dealing with that, but I do feel like it's like, I don't know, like things aren't maybe as bad as they once were, but they're certainly not as good as you want them to get. And that's a pretty cool place to be, Sagittarius, because that's when you start to realize, okay, like I am progressing, things are getting better. And no, I haven't reached this new beginning. I haven't completely rose from the ashes, but I'm, gearing up to do that. And I feel like that's really kind of what this energy is talking about. So let's start. That was a long intro, but let's start, Sagittarius, by looking at your recent past. You have your commitment is being tested with the 3 of Swords here. Let's actually take a look at this situation. Recent past for Sagittarius, please. One more. Recent past for Sagittarius. What was Sagittarius dealing with? The Chariot, the 3 of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Lovers. And then you have the 6 of Cups. And there's that Fool in reverse. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, this is such a cool energy. So what this is saying, I mean, if you want to break it down, like piece by piece, it's, you have the 6 of Cups. This is alluding to your past. You have the Fool in reverse. This is alluding to that new beginning you're wanting. What happened in your past happened to move you forward to the pieces falling into place, the wheel turning in your favor toward what it is you deserve. So whenever, and I talk about this a lot, and I feel like this can be a very triggering concept for a lot of people, but when you're going through something really painful, you have to remember that life is always happening for you, not to you. But when you're in the thick of it and you're feeling like a victim and you're feeling like life is kind of just like kicking you while you're down, of course you feel like it's happening to you. So I'm not saying you're not valid in feeling that way, right? But your feelings aren't truth. And sometimes we don't realize how things really are happening for us. But that's exactly what this is saying. What this, and like if you want to take it a step further with the 3 of Cups in reverse, and then there's that Queen of Wands, it's like things fell apart to fall back together. And maybe they haven't fallen together yet, but you're on the journey of getting there. And some days you probably feel better than others, and some days you feel more powerful than others, and some days you probably feel like you got it together more than others. And that's just part of the journey and part of the process. So if you're going through a tough time right now, if you're kind of coming out of going through a tough time right now, consider this a message. I mean, this is the first message out of the gate, and it is very much a message of hope. It's saying what you've been through and what you've been going through really is leading you toward what it is that you deserve. And what it is you deserve is what it is that's going to fulfill you. I mean, you have the Wheel of Fortune. This is the wheel turning in your favor, whether or not you can see it yet. Ooh, I don't know which one to take. Let's do this. All right. This recent past for Sagittarius, please. I feel like this really is a reading about like just keep going. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. You're going to question whether or not you're doing the right thing, whether you're healing the right way or making the right moves, because that's just part of the journey. But you are doing the right thing. If you are focusing on your inner world, if you're focusing on healing, if you're focusing on taking your power back, if you're focusing on making the best decisions for you, you're going to get to where you're trying to go. The intention is the most important step in the process. Recent past for Sagittarius. Sagittarius's recent past, please. Ooh, that card really came out. This is crazy because all it keeps telling me, because then you have the Ten of Wands in reverse, Death, Queen of Cups in reverse, Three of Wands in reverse, Queen of Wands, Justice, then you have the Ace of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles. This new beginning that you're headed toward, you might not have experienced yet. Maybe you have. Maybe you have had this new beginning, and this is kind of a reading from the past. Again, general, take it as it resonates. But if you hadn't gone through what you have been through, you wouldn't have had the opportunity that you currently have to build to this Four of Pentacles, to this stability, to this certainty, to this, I don't know, it's like this life that, it's like you wouldn't have had the opportunity to get to where you want to go if you hadn't been through what you've been through. And to you, you might be like, how the hell is that true? That's crazy. And I get that. I do really understand and get that. I can tell you, a couple of years ago, without sounding dramatic, in the most literal of ways, my life fell apart. Some of you knew me from my past channel. I mean, I completely deleted that channel. I kind of went through a dark night of the soul kind of thing. My whole life fell apart. Lost everything, lost friends, lost family members, lost my career, lost everything. And spent about a year and a half really angry at the universe. I could not understand why this was happening. I had devoted so much of my life to taking leaps of faith, to putting my faith in the universe, to, trusting what was in front of me. And I didn't understand why. I ended up having to move. I wanted to move out to San Diego for my whole life. I was living out there. I was living the life that I thought I wanted. Everything fell apart. I had to move back home to Oklahoma. If you're not familiar with the U.S., Oklahoma is not so great compared to San Diego. But it's where I grew up and it is home. Well, after about a year and a half of being very angry at the universe, I started deciding to take my own advice and flip my perspective on what had happened. And it wasn't easy. It took day by day. It took a lot of, leaning into gratitude, a lot of prayer, a lot of meditation, a lot of focusing on my inner environment. And day by day, I started to rebuild and create a life that was better than what I was experiencing in the place that I was once living. And moving back was what introduced me to my current partner, who is absolutely the love of my life. Like, would have never met him if it wasn't for my move back home. Like, everything truly did happen for a reason. Now I look back at my past and I'm like, well, I don't really want to go through that again. That did suck, and it was painful, and it was scary, and it was heartbreaking, and all of that. But I'm really, really happy with where I am today. And I can see why that all had to happen to get me to where I am today. And so sometimes when things in our past are hard and we can't see the bigger picture, we kind of, like, for lack of a better way of saying it, we kind of just got to wait it out and believe that there is good that's coming on the other side, because that's really what this message is saying. Like, if you didn't go through what you've been through, you wouldn't be able to have what it is the universe is setting you up for. So try to tap into that faith, because I do really believe that good things are coming for you, Sagittarius. Recent past for Sagittarius, please. It's interesting. It's not telling me a whole lot about your recent past, more about the purpose. And probably because, like, you've done enough dwelling on your recent past. You know what happened. You know the heartbreak you went through. You knew what it is that you struggled with. 9 of Pentacles in reverse, Page of Pentacles, Lovers. 4 of Cups in reverse, 6 of Cups, 10 of Cups, 2 of Wands. I only usually take 3 or 4 of those cards, but my goodness. Okay. Oof. Ace of Swords in reverse. The World, 5 of Cups. All right. I'm going to split these up. So, it's kind of 2 different messages, but whatever. 9 of Pentacles in reverse, Page of Pentacles, Lovers. When we kind of experience, for lack of a better word, our life falling apart, lack of a better term or phrase, and our world kind of collapsing, feeling the rug ripped out from underneath us, relationships that end, losing careers, losing people, through death or other experiences, we can start to internalize that pain that we experience is going to last forever. And of course you're going to feel that way, right? Especially if you lost or went through a painful experience that's unlike anything you've ever experienced before. Of course you're going to feel like it's going to last forever. But the most important thing to remember is that everything is temporary. With this Nine of Pentacles in reverse, it's almost like this doubt that you're ever going to get your wish fulfillment. Because when we go through things, it's like we can really start to get into that mindset of like, I'm never going to be happy again. I'm never going to get what I want. I just lost what it was that made me happy, or I lost my only opportunity at happiness, or I'm never going to heal from this, or I'm never going to get over this, right? But then you have this Page of Pentacles and the Lovers, and then what it's saying is, it's actually the opposite. It's, you lost what wasn't meant for you. It didn't resonate with your soul at that time. And you've gained the opportunity for what it is that you deserve. Now, again, if you're dealing with like death or something, extremely tragic, first and foremost, this might not be your reading. But second of all, the lesson and the healing that you go through from these painful experiences that you've been through is usually what leads you to your purpose. And we all have a purpose here. You might not know what that is. You might know what that is. But what we don't realize is that the experiences that we have are actually there to fuel our purpose. And, I'm a firm believer, and this is just something that I believe based on my own personal experiences. I'm a firm believer that we're here to heal ourselves so that we can heal other people. And the best way to help heal other people is to heal from our own experiences that other people are currently dealing with. It's kind of like that idea of like what you're going through one day be someone else's survival guide. And so the most painful experiences for us can actually be opportunities. And it's really difficult to look at your trauma and your pain as like an opportunity, especially when you're in the thick of healing. But the more that you can shift your perspective on that, because this kind of moving into this message, you have the Six of Cups, Four of Cups in reverse. This is this need to shift your perspective on your past, because what has actually happened is getting you into alignment with your Ten of Cups. I feel like you've lost your Ten of Cups, your potential at emotional fulfillment, at emotional happiness. You feel like this is behind you, when in reality, what has happened has set you up into alignment with your Ten of Cups. And with the Lovers, like what it is that you deserve. So there is this need to kind of look at things a little bit differently. That doesn't mean, invalidating your pain or invalidating your experience or taking away the negative aspects. It means holding space for both, right? There's both a positive and a negative to every single situation. And the more that we can hold space for both, the more we can create miracles. All right, current energy for Sagittarius, clarifying, don't let your past hold you back, with the Fool in reverse. Current energy for Sagittarius, please. Current energy for Sagittarius, please. Don't let your past... Ooh. Current energy for Sagittarius, please. It's like you're in between your past and your future right now. Current energy for Sagittarius. Queen of Cups in reverse, Magician in reverse, Sun in reverse, High Priestess in reverse. Okay. Your emotions and your fear-based ego, which we all have, are trying really hard to make you think that things are never going to get better. Especially I feel like your emotions. Like if you look at your reality right now, you might feel like things are really far from where you want to be. But I also feel like if you look at your reality, you can look at it as an opportunity that you have like so much opportunity. You can look at it as an opportunity as the fact that you have so much opportunity. If there is anything that I have learned on this journey, and it's something that I've been through twice in my life. I quit my job as a financial advisor, became a tarot reader, my life fell apart, kind of fell back in old habits, became a real estate agent, hated that just as much as being a financial advisor, and here I am as a tarot reader again. And both times, both when I was a financial advisor and when I was in real estate, I had to come to this conclusion, this realization that I was unhappy with my life, and that the only person that was going to make the changes that I wanted out of my life was me. And both times I was able to do it, and I was able to build my life back up to where I wanted it to be. Now, every single time, and I've kind of mentioned this a little bit, we'll talk a lot about this, I feel like, in your immediate future. Single time you try to take that step forward, you're going to feel so much energy trying to pull you back. Every single time I have some sort of positive event take place in my life, like some form of growth, whether it be financially or on my channel or in my relationship or whatever the case is, pretty much immediately after something good happens, I am met with so much fear and so much anxiety that is trying to pull me backwards. Every step we try to take forward will be met with equal energy trying to pull us backward. And so that's why the step forward and the Phoenix Rising, it's a process, because you can't just like, woo, I'm back, here I am, free of all my fear and all of my pain from my past. You can't do that, because you're going to get like hit with like a meteor or something right away, because it is a process. You've got to, it's like you learn to crawl, and then you learn to stand, and then you learn to walk, and then you learn to run, right? And every single time, you learn to crawl, you're gonna fall down. You learn to walk, you're gonna trip. Like it's gonna be a process figuring out how to rebuild your life when you've gone through something really painful. So understand that if you're in an energy right now where everything around you feels like it is overwhelming and nothing good is happening for you and nothing's ever going to get to where you're trying to go, that is literally your ego and your fear-based mentality trying to say, hey, pull back to safety. Pull back to how things were before. Pull back to, survival mode and fear and bad relationships and careers that don't serve you. Pull back to the energy that we're used to, because it's scary. The unknown is really scary, but the unknown is where you're going to be able to create what it is that you want. With the Magician in reverse, this is literally doubt in the universe's ability to manifest what you want. This is talking about ego. This is talking about letting your emotions win. This is talking about not listening to your intuition. Now, of course, you're going to be stuck. Again, you're in this limbo between like almost like this comfort zone between things falling apart and things coming together for you. So have a little bit of faith, and I really feel like things will turn around for you here, Sagittarius. Current energy for Sagittarius. Okay, now the sun's upright. Then you have the Empress. Six of Swords in reverse, Death in reverse, and Five of Pentacles. Okay. It's really hard for you to move forward right now because you're stuck on the experience of your past. This is kind of a vulnerable thing for me to talk about, but I experienced a lot that kind of like experience of my life falling apart, right? And a lot of the reason that it did was my fault. Now, it wasn't intentional that the things that happened the way they did. I obviously didn't go into it with the intention of my life falling apart, but I did have to look back and realize that my movements, choices, and decisions, a lot of it was lining with fear and ego. And I now currently in my life, rebuilding my experience and things like that, I fear that my past intentions are going to or that maybe there are intentions I don't know about, right? Am I making the right decisions for myself? Am I doing the right thing for myself? Obviously, there's a part of me that knows I am, but then there's that part of me that second guesses because of what I've experienced. I'm still going through the process of healing that past, and every single time I take a step forward, I heal it a little bit more. But for a long time, I was stuck in not moving forward and completely staying exactly where I was in a safe, comfortable, unfulfilling life because I felt more in control that way. Now, when we go through loss and major traumatic events, or even just like minor loss, it doesn't even have to be that big. That fear and that anxiety of things getting worse is going to come back up. And as you try to build, you're going to have to face that fear and that anxiety almost all over again. It's like you face it when you go through it, and then you face it as you start to move forward from it. And so in your current energy, I feel like you're kind of like you're in between being stuck on your past, but also trying to choose yourself and create a better future and create a happier, more fulfilling life. And that's an okay place to be, Sagittarius, because every single step you take forward, you're going to be met with that resistance and that fear. And every single time you overcome that fear, your faith is going to get a little bit stronger, and you're going to be able to take another step forward. So if you are not where you want to be right now, first and foremost, be grateful for where you're at compared to where you've been, because you're probably in a much better place than you realize. You can't see it because things have been moving so slow. First and foremost, look at it that way. But second of all, understand that this is about the journey. Getting there and all of a sudden living the life of your dreams, that's not going to heal you. It's not going to make you feel better. The process and the journey to get there, that's where the healing happens. That's where the magic is. That's where life happens. So you're in between this energy of like the Sun and the Empress, and then like the Six of Swords, the Death in reverse, and the page or the Five of Pentacles. And I do feel like you are kind of stuck on the past in the sense of like, well, what if my happiness is behind me? What if I'm never going to be in a better spot than I was back then? And I can tell you right now, that is a lie that you are telling yourself. The universe never takes from us what is possible for providing us with our happiness in the future. Sometimes when we're able to move forward and heal, things from our past will come back. Sometimes we'll move forward to new and better experiences. But the more that we open our heart up to the universe's plan for us, the more that we start to realize that, hey, you know what? Everything might just be happening for me and I'm going to be okay. And that is the absolute truth, Sagittarius, is that you are going to be okay as long as you are focusing on the healing and putting your faith in that universe. And you don't have to have all the faith and you don't have to be healed, 100%, because you're never going to be. Life is or healing is a lifelong journey. But the more that you set your intention in that direction, the more that you're going to start to take steps toward that reality. Okay, current energy for Sagittarius. Yeah, see, you're just working through fear. The Moon in reverse, Three of Pentacles in reverse. It's like you're working through fear that things are never going to come together again. And that's completely fine. That was probably my biggest thing for a while, was I kind of gave up the hope. I was like, I tried to put my faith in the universe. I tried to do everything right. I tried to, have the best intentions for the people around me, and I still made mistakes. And so for a while I was like, what's the point? I thought I was choosing the right people to be in my life. I thought I was choosing the right relationships. I thought I was choosing the right path. I thought I had the right ideas. And I didn't. But I've learned that that was the whole point. I needed to make those mistakes to get to where I am now, to be able to have the knowledge and the experience that I do now to be able to move forward to better days. And that is life. We go through really painful experiences. Those experiences are temporary. We heal from those experiences. We create new experiences that are temporary. We learn from those. We move forward to a little bit more. And that's just kind of how things go. So I feel like the biggest thing coming through in this reading is you are coming out of what you're going through. And second of all, this phase in your life, it's temporary. You're not going to be stuck here forever. Things are going to come together for you as long as you believe it. Your manifestations are already yours as long as you believe it. Immediate future for Sagittarius, clarifying work through your fears with the Queen of Wands. Immediate future for Sagittarius, clarifying work through your fears. One more. With the Queen of Wands. Immediate future for Sagittarius. Okay. Emperor, Page of Pentacles, King of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, Ten of Pentacles, Sun, Tower in reverse, Death in reverse. Okay. I just read them off. I mean, these are like the main message, but then I just kind of look at the ones that pop out for like clarity or to add. I want to tell you a story real quick. It's a quick one. I know I'm talking a lot about my experience in this reading, but I do feel like it's not that I'm just talking about my experience. It's that's what the energy is relating to, and I feel like my experience kind of brings it through. This happens a lot with my channel. When I post a reading that is incredibly vulnerable and kind of like one that I fear people aren't going to take well, I post it posts or whatever. And I literally I have to put my phone on the other side of the room and not look at it because I get so afraid. I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone's going to hate it. I'm going to lose all these subscribers and my business is going to collapse. And I think worst case scenario, because the more I put myself out there, the more I speak from my truth, the more honest, the more vulnerable I am, the scarier it is that people are going to receive those messages in the wrong way, right? The more afraid I am of a video that I post or a reading that I post or something that comes through after I post it, the more success that I have. I've really learned that sometimes making the decision that scares you the most is the best decision for you and will lead to the most miracles. Your action, because your immediate future is a lot about action. you've been stuck in this kind of limbo period, and then this is kind of like really starting to take that action to, do what it is that you need to do to get yourself unstuck, right? Maybe you don't know what that action is right now, and that's okay. I really feel like that's going to kind of come in your immediate future. But if there's one thing that you should know, is that every single time you take a step forward, you're going to doubt that step. You're going to question whether you're doing the right thing, whether you're good enough, whether it's meant for you, whether it's actually going to lead to anything, whether you're going to fail, whether you're going to succeed. You're going to question everything. And in that moment, try to step outside of what it is that your brain is telling you and look at it from the perspective of, this is me questioning everything. And that's all this means. It doesn't mean that I am doing the wrong thing. It means that my fear, my limiting beliefs, and my ego are trying to pull me back to safety of this, feeling stuck and feeling unfulfilled and feeling blocked and stuck in lack and all of that. So when you start to take the action moving forward to be that phoenix rising from the ashes, know that that is going to be almost guaranteed that you are going to face those things, that fear and that anxiety about, am I doing the right thing? Is this the right path? And that self-doubt. And the more that you can be aware that it's going to happen, the more that when it's happening, you don't let it control your decision making, because you're going to have to experience it, right? Your fear is going to come up. Your fear is going to say hi. It's going to make an appearance. But the more that you can be aware of it, the less you can allow that to then dictate your movements, choices, and decisions. Because if you aren't aware of your fear, if you aren't aware of your limiting beliefs, if you aren't aware of your self-doubt, you're going to start to believe, whenever you start to feel and think in alignment with those things, you're going to start to believe that they're telling you a truth. They're not. They're actually telling you a lie. And it's probably lies that you've been telling yourself your whole life. And so that's how you break out of limiting beliefs and limiting cycles, is when you start to experience them, you choose differently. You say, I have made self-sabotaging decisions in the past. This, I'm starting a new relationship. This feels awfully familiar to how relationships felt in the past. I'm not going to do this again. I'm not going to repeat this cycle. I'm going to quit this job, but I'm going to start my business. I'm going to fear failure, but I'm not going to let that fear stop me from making the decisions that I know that are best for me. Whatever the case is for you, be aware of that fear when you take the action, and that will lead you closer and closer to the opportunities that you're looking for. Immediate future for Sagittarius. Immediate future for Sagittarius, please. Okay. Again, I'm talking a lot about my experience, but my gosh, has it been relevant today? I have recently felt this compelling need to talk about the power of prayer. Now, when I talk about prayer, I am not talking about prayer to a specific God or in a specific way. It could be to you just setting an intention, journaling about your intention. It could be literally praying to a higher power, to spirit, the divine, God, your higher self. It doesn't matter. But the more that you ask for whatever it is that you're wanting, the more those doors will open. I personally have kind of lost prayer, like asking for guidance as a tool recently. Not necessarily because it doesn't work, but because I lost a lot of my faith in the universe over, kind of that situation I was talking about. But the more that I do start to remember that the universe has my back, and again, it's been a process for me too, but the more that I do start to remember that the universe has my back, the more I start to ask for the universe's guidance, the more I start to pray for things that I want, the more that I start to have a more positive outlook in my intentions. And I have noticed that the words that I speak out loud have been starting to come to fruition. And I have also noticed that happens in both a positive and a negative way. And a big thing for me has been talking about like my financial situation or like my anxiety or my relationship with my significant other. If I speak my issues out loud and I talk, I don't have the money I need, or I'm so anxious today, or, my relationship's been on the rocks recently, which hasn't been the case. But if I speak those things out loud, I start to experience more of those things. And so when you are in situations where things feel bleak or uncertain, really do try to do your best to lean on that universal energy, to lean on that energy of love, and to see things through that perspective and that lens of positivity and hope. I'm not a toxic positivity kind of person. I'm not sitting here saying, think positive all the time. I'm saying honor your experience for what it is, honor the feelings that you have in association with that experience, whether that's negative or positive, but then try to make sure that your perspective and your outlook on the future is everything is happening for me. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's working out. I just don't know how right now. Because the more that you can lean on that, the more you will start to experience that being true. I literally experience it in my every single day life about that being true. So try your hardest to think in that positive, kind of more optimistic outlook, and you'll start to see that the positivity and optimism will start to trickle down into your life. I see a lot of, positive comments on my channel, but I see a lot of comments that make me sad. Just people being like, happiness is overrated. I've never been happy a day in my life. I don't believe in happiness and things along those lines. And, if that is what you believe, then that is absolutely what your experience is going to be. Your beliefs are the root of your results. And so figure out what it is that you're believing about your experience. That's absolutely valid. You believe about what's possible because of what you've experienced, but figure out where those beliefs are stemming from, heal the experience, shift the beliefs, and move forward. It's like this manifestation stuff. It's so easy, right? Believe that it's going to happen and it will, but it's not easy because you can't just like change your belief system like that, right? Immediate future for Sagittarius, please. The Fool in reverse. Fool in reverse, 4 of Swords in reverse, 2 of Cups. Ooh, there's that 3 of Swords. 8 of Swords, 7 of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. This is kind of like closing out the reading. It almost feels like it's like drawing a circle back to your past. Your soul is tired of what it is that you've been going through. You're burnt out. You're tired. And you probably want to give up. You're probably at that point where you're like, no amount of healing has worked. No amount of self-work has worked. I've done the shadow work. I've done the journaling and the affirmations and the prayer and the meditation. Like maybe you've tried it all. Maybe you feel like you've tried it all. Sometimes it's not about doing more. It's about doing less. And what I mean by less is doing what it is that brings you joy and leaning on the fact that we are actually here on this earth to be having fun. You should be enjoying your experience, and you can be at a point in your life where you are capable of that. But you've got to start today to start aligning your movements, choices, and decisions with the life that you want to experience instead of repeating the patterns and the habits from your past. And that takes hard work and dedication and openness and willingness. And it's not easy. And I'm not sitting here saying, just change your life, right? It's super easy to just change your life. It's not. I've done it twice. It's not easy. But it is absolutely possible. I've watched it firsthand in my life and the people that I've helped on my spiritual coaching journey. It's absolutely possible to change your life, change the course of your life, and to almost step into a completely different life. And you are the phoenix rising from the ashes here, Sagittarius. You have that choice right now with where you're at right now to start to move forward in alignment with the new exciting experiences that you want to have instead of the burnout, painful, sabotaging, survival mode experiences that you've been stuck in. And maybe you don't know the best way forward. And that's where I want you to, that's where I seriously want what to come forward is pray about it. Ask for guidance. Even if it's just like, if you're setting the intention, I am moving forward in alignment with the life of my dreams. I'm moving forward in alignment with the life of my dreams. And I believe that the opportunities and the steps that I need to take are going to open up as I move forward toward the life of my dreams. Set the intention, ask for guidance, do whatever you need to do to start shifting your mindset and your beliefs in that direction. And this will flip it on its head. And you'll start to see that new beginning will become a reality. All right. All right, Sagittarius, I'm going to hop on over to the extended. We're going to dive into the advice in regard to these messages, and then I have a affirmation card to pull at the end. This is my first week using this deck, and I absolutely love it. Any information on that is in the description box below. Otherwise, Sagittarius, thank you so very much for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Sagittarius.